Alright lads, so this is a different style of content I'm looking to put out here on the page. Just going through maybe the key scenarios of the course, maybe an ideal resource for teachers to put up on their Google Classroom or Teams, or maybe an ideal resource to sort of put out to students that they're maybe constantly revising even if they're scrolling on the phone. So we're starting off today with soil classification. So this is a bit of a worksheet or sort of I like to do for the end of soil classification that students sort of know, are able to name the land use for 4 different types of soils. Now you can pick, these are sort of main ones I use: glaze, brown earth soils, podsoils and peats, so that they're able to give a land use, whether it be forestry, crop, animal production, whatever it is. They're able to give a brief description of what the soil profile is, so what's happening in the A horizon, the B horizon, C horizon, and then a few characteristics. Is the soil good drainage? Does it have good structure? What's the pore space like in it? Different things like that. And ideally then, when you be all finished, this might be printed on an A3 page, that you'll be able to draw your different sort of soil profiles around here. And then, just as a general rule of thumb, that everyone knows sort of a definition of what a soil profile is, can be asked commonly enough in the exam. And then just to draw your general soil profile. So in the 4 different quadrants here, we're getting sort of specific on what a glaze is, what a podsol is, what a peat is. But in the middle here, that we're just going to draw a general soil profile, knowing that the A is the topsoil, the B is the subsoil, R is the bedrock, things like that. Okay. Here we're looking at a map of Ireland and the different types of soils in Ireland. As you can see, that there's loads of different types of soils in Ireland in different areas, but the main thing I want to sort of put across here is that the type of soil in your area is nearly going to indicate what type of farming you're going to do. So as you can see here along the west coast, get me laser here, Donegal, North or West Mayo, Galway, all down here tends to be very peaty, boggy glaze, and even up here sort of North Leitrim, that is where the predominant of your sort of mountain sheep farming, your forestry is going to take place. Like, you're not going to be able to have 100 acres of barley growing there in North Donegal if you have very peaty soils, because they're going to be poorly drained, different things like that. Okay, in comparison to down the south east of the country, where you have better quality soils, they're going to have more fertility, more humus, better drainage. That is where you're going to have your high-end sort of dairy farms and your sort of crop production down here. Okay, so our definition for a soil profile is a vertical section showing all the soil horizons, known as a soil profile. Okay, so you're taking all the different sections here, is going to make up your soil profile. Your top being your A, or your O, A, B, C and R. Okay, so if you're taking a vertical excavation of a soil, that is what you're going to see. So something like our diagram here. So we have our sort of our O horizon is going to be the top, your A horizon here, your B horizon, and then you can see sort of more stones blended into it, our C horizon, and maybe further down is going to be our R horizon. Okay, important to note here that A is going to be our alluvial zone, and B, C and R is going to be our illuvial zone. Okay, so what does that mean? Our alluvial zone is the transport of soil particles or minerals from the upper layers of the soil to the lower. Okay, so that is where your leaching is going to occur. Okay, predominantly take place in your podsoils. Okay, but elevation, think of elevation is the top or from a height. That is going to take place in the top half of your soil, and elevation is where everything is going to be deposited. Okay, so that is where your iron pan or your hard pan is going to form. Okay, then moving on to our general soil profile. So what we wanted to draw on our diagram or our worksheet there at the start, what is our general soil profile? Okay, so our O is going to be known as our organic matter, A is going to be known as our topsoil, B is going to be known as our subsoil, C is our parent material, and R is our bedrock. Okay, so main maybe the only other point I'd probably make for this is that you definitely need to know, label your different horizons, O, A, B, C and R. You need to know what they stand for, your O being your organic matter, A being your topsoil, B subsoil, C parent material, or your bedrock. Another point I'd probably put in trying to get the last few marks is that A2 is going to be where your elevation, your EL, or your elevation is going to take place. That is your zone of max leaching. And then B2 is where your iron pan or your hard pan is going to form, is your max accumulation. So that's your alluvial zone. Okay, so that is all for today, and hopefully we'll get onto the different soil profiles in a later video.